Hello you guys, welcome back. Today I'm just going to work on a couple thrift makeovers that I'm going to add to my booth, starting with this mannequin that I'm just going to give it a little facelift. Now I'm trying to go like with a coastal vibe. She kind of looked like a mermaid towards the end once I was done, but I don't know, you guys let me know what you think. The closest thing I could find to shells were these molds out of the Classic Elements mold from IOD, and I kind of want to just use it like as if they were like her bra. I was gonna end up putting like little straps, but I ended up not putting any. So yeah, I'm just figuring out the placement, and I'm gonna make another mold to go right in the middle of those. So out of that same Classic Element mold, I'm gonna go ahead and use this little corner piece here. Has like a little shell looking middle area, so I'm gonna use that one to connect her bra in the center. And I do prep my molds with some baking powder, and I am using the DOS clay from Hobby Lobby. So I go ahead and turn it over, and it releases super easy from the mold, being that I added some baking powder. So I'm just going to place that in the center. My idea to begin with was I wanted to make a lot more molds and just fill a mannequin up with molds and kind of do like a blue color kind of. I have another mannequin which I may try to do that as well. I had seen some really pretty ones on Pinterest. I don't know if that's something you guys want to see. Let me know. So I am going to attach my molds here using some Tite Bond, and I'm just going to spread it all over my mold. I want to make sure that it is bonded and attached really well to my mannequin. So next I'm going to give this a coat of white using Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White. In the end I end up using antique wax. It ends up being brown. I'm not really sure if this step even makes sense. I just didn't want it to look like paper. So in case it doesn't make sense, which when I was making it I was like, I'm gonna paint it, I'm gonna put brown, but it's brown, doesn't make sense. But I don't know, hopefully it makes sense once y'all see the end result. So since my molds are not fully set up yet, I'm just using a smaller brush just to get into all that detail. I'm trying to keep as much detail as I can. So then I'm going to go in with some Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm working in very small sections. This can get a little bit muddy if you work in big sections and it dries too fast. I still get a little bit of a muddy look only because I don't use clear wax before I do this. I just like to get as much out of the antique wax as I can, and I do like it to be a little on the darker side. And just to bring out all that detail, I'm going to go in with a dry brush using the antique Snow White chalk paint and just going over all my molds. And I'm actually going to go over all the mannequin, and it just picks up all the detail from the paper underneath. And I don't know, I just like that look. So this is my favorite part. I'm gonna go ahead and add some lace to the bottom part of the mannequin, and I'm just using random lace. I actually buy lace whenever I find it at the thrift store and at the Goodwill bins. Like, I have a huge basket that I'm trying to go through, so I'm gonna use some lace on the bottom of my mannequin. So I am going to start at the bottom of my mannequin and work my way up. I'm going to put some hot glue and then start gluing it around the mannequin, leaving the opening part towards the back. I do plan on putting like a really fluffy bow in the back, so that's going to be covered. So I'm going to start here in the back. So I am not measuring or anything. I'm just trying to get my spaces as even as possible all the way around. And once I get to the back, I cut it and kind of fold it inward just so I can try and disguise that um, opening there. And then I just add a little bit of hot glue to secure it. So then here I switched laces, and I'm actually using this lace that has like a 3-layer design. And I'm just going to put that in the middle and work my way around. I only had a small piece of this. I think I was only able to get 2 rows, but I feel like it just gave it a fuller look, adding that in the center. So I felt like this was a good stopping point, and I'm going to go ahead and create a fluffy bow that I can attach to the back here to cover up all those openings that I have in the back. So to create my bow, I'm just going to crisscross them over each other and then just pinch it in the middle and tie it off. And just to tie it off, I'm going to go ahead and use another piece of lace. It's just a thinner lace, and that's what I'm going to use to tie it off. So I'm going to give my bow a little fluffing, and then I'm going to add some glue and attach it to the back of the mannequin. So just to bring some of the lace up, I'm going to use this piece of lace embellishment. I'm going to go ahead and decoupage it to the top. And in the end, this did yellow a little bit with the Mod Podge, but I kind of felt like it went with the look, so I didn't mind it so much. And I am going in pretty heavy with the Mod Podge, only because I want to make sure that it gets fully through this little piece of lace, and it does attach very well. So I do go in pretty heavy. Then I'm just adding a little bit of gold onto the molds using some Folk Arts gold paint. And then I decide I want to bring the gold down. So I have this gold beaded trim that I picked up also at the Goodwill bins. I'm going to add it along the top part of the lace. And I feel like I should have done this first and then put the bow on, but I didn't want to pull off the bow and then reattach it. I just kind of worked around it, but it would have been easier to do the bow last. So for the mannequin stand, I'm going to use this piece of wood that I think came off of a lamp or something. I'm giving it a coat of the color Anvil from the Cottage Colors in DIY, and I will attach this with some hot glue underneath the mannequin just to give her a little height and a stand. I did try to do something taller, but I just feel like it was a little too wonky, so I went with this one instead. And I also go with that little wooden knob for the top. I just give it a coat of the anvil as well, and I attach it with some hot glue. And that is basically it for this mannequin. Let me know what you guys think. Does she give you mermaid vibes? Next up is this awesome light I picked up at the Goodwill bins. The light was a little bit loose. I just reattached it and screwed it all back together. And it does have a loose piece of wood here on the spindle part. I just break that off to get some glue underneath and get it reattached. And this lamp is actually not wood. The only wood parts about it is those two spindle parts on the top. The rest is pretty much foam. That is why I decided to give it a coat of black paint. Otherwise, I would love it to stay brown, but the foam has a little bit of chipping on it and a little couple pieces missing. So I'm just going to go in with some black paint to cover all that up. So I'm going to go in with the color Anvil again from the DIY Cottage Colors and give this a couple coats of black paint. So I did plan on leaving this in my booth, but when I went today I couldn't figure out how to attach it. So if I get it attached today, I will do a little tour of the booth and show y'all how this light looks. So I really love this lamp. It's really giving off like some very moody vibes. I did attempt to hang it at my booth, but it's actually one that you have to screw on. It doesn't have any brackets on the back and it's foam, so I wasn't sure how well brackets would hold up. So I did end up bringing it home and hanging it here, and I really love it. Maybe that's why I didn't make it work at the booth. So this here is after 2 coats. I'm going to go in with some gilding wax to bring out all that detail and add a little bit of dimension. And that is it for this one, guys. Super easy and quick flip. Next up are these 2 little frames. They didn't have a backing. I picked them up from the Goodwill bins. I'm going to create a backing with some of this foam board from Dollar Tree. So I'm actually just tracing out the back part of the frame, and then using a blade I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Then I do plan on using these prints that I took out of a book that I picked up at the thrift store. I'm going to go ahead and trace them out and cut them out to fit the backing of my frame. So to attach my print, I'm using a glue stick. I'm just going to cover it very well with plenty of glue. So I'm going to place my print over that, and I'm just going to smooth it out and take out any bubbles that may be underneath. And once I get it inserted into my frame, I am going to add a little bit of hot glue to the inside of the frame just to make sure that doesn't pop out. And this isn't going to show. I do plan on covering it with some brown paper to give it a much neater look. And I basically do this with the second frame as well. So when I cover this back with some brown paper, I need something to attach it to. So I do fill in the space on the back of the frame with another piece of foam right on top of the back that I just added in there. And just to add hangers, I'm going to go ahead and use these eye hooks that I picked up from Amazon. I feel like it gives it a more high-end look. And that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do want to give a huge shout out to Miss Crafty Kathy. She did mention me on her channel. I am truly grateful. She did mention that she probably thinks that I don't know who she is, but I absolutely do know who she is. I actually remember watching her when she used to come out singing with her cute little fur baby in the beginning of her journey, I think. So yeah, I'm truly appreciative. If you like what you see, please subscribe and follow for more, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.